You didn't think you were going to run across a TikTok on cannibalism today, did you? So for those of you who've been following me a while, you know that I came up in a very strict Catholic household. I was a hardcore Catholic for a long time. I went to Catholic school, went to a Catholic law school. I was the head of the Catholic Law Association at my Catholic law school. I taught Catholic school, and I was on the school board of a Catholic school. And I was the Archdiocese of Atlanta High School Senior of the Year. Pretty hardcore Catholic. But eventually, like so many of us do, I saw a bit more of the world. I started getting educated, and I started studying cults. Anyway, the point is, I'm better now. But the Catholic Church has this principle in their canon called transubstantiation, where I don't know if any of y'all have seen a Catholic Mass before, but and a lot of Protestant churches do like a communion service. Well, in a Catholic Mass, they do a communion service every time. I know a lot of, other Christian religions do communion maybe once a month or something like that. And what they do is they give out like little Dixie cups of like grape juice or wine and like little bites of bread or whatever and give it out to people. Well, the Catholics, they do it every Sunday. And they call it the Eucharist, and it's the most sacred part of the Mass. And what Catholics believe is this principle of transubstantiation. So when the priest gets these crackers and this wine and says these particular magic words, the bread and the wine no longer exist. It is now the body and the blood of Jesus Christ. Physically, like actually the body and blood of Jesus Christ. Now, there are some Christian religions, I believe Lutheranism is one of them, that believes in consubstantiation, which means it is both a cracker and the body of Jesus. And then there are other Christian religions that believe that it's a symbolic act, so in remembrance. So like at the Last Supper, which is where all this comes from, Jesus held up the cup and held up the bread, and he said, this is my body, which will be given up for you. And then he says, do this in memory of me, and he passes it all out to his homies. And that's part of what's called the consecration that they do in Catholic Mass. So they hold up the cracker and they say, this is my body, which will be given up for you. Do this in memory of me. And then they do it with the cup as well. This is the cup of my blood, the blood of the new and everlasting covenant. It will be shed for you and for all so that sins may be forgiven. Do this in memory of me. And then they ring bells and supposedly like it magically changes into body and blood. Consubstantiation, still a cracker, but also the body and the body of Jesus. Still wine, but also the blood of Jesus. Transubstantiation, which is the Catholic version, no longer bread, just body. No longer wine, just blood. Which is why during the COVID outbreak, there were a lot of Catholic churches that like refused to stop using one cup to give to everybody. So like Catholic churches don't go pouring this stuff into Dixie cup. This is the blood of Jesus. So it can only be administered from these very special blessed cups. You can't go pouring the blood of Jesus into a Dixie cup, right? So they were all swap and spit with everybody in the church, but it's the blood of Jesus, so it couldn't possibly hurt you. Meanwhile, there were like massive amounts of people that were doing this that were coming down with and dying of COVID. But the whole point about this is transubstantiation. So every Sunday or every time you go to Mass, you can go every day if you want, Catholics believe that they are walking up that aisle and eating the body of Jesus and drinking his blood. This is not a symbolic act. This is not both bread and wine and body and blood of Jesus. It's not some spiritual change. They believe they're physically eating the body and blood of Jesus because the magic words made it so. Therefore, every Catholic Mass is a cannibalistic ceremony. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. Jesus was human, was he not? I mean, he was both God and human, right? And he said, this is my body, right? So if you believe in transubstantiation, that it is no longer bread, it is the body of Jesus, you are eating human flesh and drinking human blood. And now I've heard people say, well, no, it's the spiritual body. It's not just the body. It's the spiritual body. Okay, well, you're not eating a spirit cracker, right? You're not pretending to eat a cracker. You're actually physically consuming something. So what are you physically consuming? You're not consuming something spiritual. It's physical consumption. You're consuming a cracker. If you're consuming a cracker, that's consubstantiation. That is both cracker and spiritual body of Jesus. That is against Catholic canon. If you believe in transubstantiation, you are consuming the flesh of Jesus Christ. And your Mass is a cannibalistic ceremony. And as far as I know, cannibalism is illegal just about everywhere. So you know why the Eucharist isn't illegal? Because this shit isn't real. But we just let the men in the pretty dresses have their fun little ceremonies, and all of the people share all the germs, and they can do their thing because, freedom of religion. So there they are, believing they're eating human flesh and drinking human blood, staring up at a statue of a bloody, tortured man nailed to a cross. Sounds like something out of a horror film to me. Stay safe out there, friends, and keep fighting the good fight.